Folks, have you heard about this one? Apparently, they've done a new scientific study, and they found out that American girls are now reaching puberty as young as 6 years old. What the fuck? This should be in the what the fuck section, but it's in the trash world section for a reason. Phenomenon scientists think may be linked to childhood obesity, chemicals in plastic, and stress. Apparently, the average age of puberty now in black girls is 9. Now, 6 is not the average age. 6 is just the age some of them are reaching puberty. But the age of puberty is dropping drastically. And like I said, they believe it has something to do with obesity. Too many McDonald's for your kids in this country. But also chemicals used in plastics. And also stress related. I have no idea how modern kids could be more stressed out than kids from the past, because it seems like it's much easier to live today than it's ever been in the history of mankind. But apparently they're more stressed out than ever. I don't know. It must be Facebook, Twitter. Who the fuck knows? But crazy as shit. 6 years old. Imagine getting pregnant at 6. What the goddamn fuck? Crazy. So, of course, Alex Jones immediately got out there and started spreading conspiracy theories about it. I'm going to play the clip and then we're going to talk about it. But this is how Alex Jones works, folks. He finds an article that says true shit. And he reads that article, and then he adds conspiracy theories on top of that article. The article just told you. It's due to obesity in this country and chemicals put out by corporations. It has nothing to do with the government, except for maybe the government not having enough regulations on corporations. It's all about capitalism. People trying to make as much money as they fucking possibly can and not caring what they do to the environment and to the people, as long as they make a buck. And since no one's holding these capitalists accountable for any of this shit, they can just do it for fucking ever and make tons of fucking money off our pain and misery. But what Alex Jones will do is he'll read this article that says something truthful, and then he'll add on, this is the globalist. They're doing it on purpose to our children, folks. They're trying to turn you gay. And then what he'll do is he'll like go on Joe Rogan. And then Joe Rogan will be like, well, they were making fun of you for saying that chemicals are making kids have puberty at 6 years old. When that's not why we were making fun of him at all. We were making fun of him for adding shit onto it and claiming it's some kind of globalist conspiracy theory and the government doing it. But then he'll show the article. See, here's the article that says they're having puberty at 6. And then Joe Rogan will be like, see, Alex Jones is always right. He tells the truth again. This is how the whole scam works, folks. This is how the scam about the they're making the frogs gay worked. People weren't making fun of Alex Jones because he said they're making the frogs gay. Well, they were. They weren't making the frogs gay. There was a similar to this situation here. There was something the corporations were dumping into the water supply that were turning some of the amphibians into females, which isn't making them gay. That's stupid. All he's doing is putting out homophobia to try to scare people. But no one was denying that happened. It was his further claim that this is the globalist, the Illuminati, doing this to try to feminize men and make people gay. That was the part we were making fun of. But he goes on Joe Rogan and he goes, see, here's an article that says some of these chemicals can turn frogs into women. And then Joe Rogan's like, see, Alex Jones is right again about everything. Watch, folks. Hopefully you guys are sophisticated enough to see through this bullshit.
Counts causing hormonal disturbances. Girls on average used to go into puberty at 13. The U.S. national average is about 9.
For black girls.
3-year-old girls are now having periods. 5-year-old girls are now getting pregnant. Because these chemicals hyper-feminize females and feminize males. Counts.
Right, they try to make all the men feminine, take away our masculinity. It's just homophobic hysteria that he's putting out there and blaming on the globalists. And the largest podcast in the world will back him up on this bullshit. Here he is, talking more about it. Let's have a listen.
Does this to humans as well. That's why genitals, I don't care if you're black or white, are a third the size they were of a 1960s male.
That's definitely not true. That is, there is no fucking possible way this is true. The average penis size, I still think, is around 6 inches, 5.5 inches. There's no way the average penis size in the 1960s was 15 inches. What the fuck is this motherfucker even talking about? Just blatant stupidity.
The media makes jokes about that a few months ago when I gave the example of, you know, if your daddy's Johnson was a foot long, yours is 6 inches long. And if yours was 6 inches, your son will be 3 inches. And the one with them won't even have a penis. So you make jokes about that all day long, but this isn't a game. And you can say, okay, well, who cares? Well, we're sterilized. And the sperm counts are down 96%. Does this?
Yeah, that's because we need more regulations on the shit they're putting into the environment. The very thing you oppose. Because the government's evil. And he's found out a way, folks, to still declare these mass shootings as fake, but not get sued. He's learning his lesson a little bit. He's still claiming they're fake. He's still claiming they're psyops. He's still claiming it's the government doing it, just like he did with the Sandy Hook schools. But he's learned that as long as I say, hey, this guy who committed the shootings actually did it himself, these people really did die, but it's the government doing it, he can't get sued because he's not denying that people died or dead. He's not claiming that the kid didn't do it. He's just adding on the conspiracy that it's obvious this kid is a government agent of some sort. Watch how disgusting this motherfucker is.
This isn't rocket science. If you're foreign multinational banks imploding the world economy for a design collapse, you're going to stir up every major group internally using sociology. So in Sri Lanka, they'll play one group off against each other, even though they're genetically the same people. Here in America, we got historic beefs and some bad things have been done to certain people. Play those up, divide everybody. This is very, very simple. And the system knows that. And they knew that this guy was planning to do this, and they let him do it. That's come out in the news. We're taking your phone calls right now, going to folks first in Buffalo. We're going to talk to Bob in Buffalo. Our hearts go out to poor, innocent, the first 2 people he killed. I've seen the raw footage. We're not going to air it here. He live streamed it on Twitch. We don't blame Twitch. Make a call up on a telephone and stream something on Zoom. You don't blame AT&T. You don't blame the company that owns Zoom. They blamed a few years ago when a guy went in and shot up and killed some people at a synagogue. He just said I'm about to go shoot people 5 minutes before on Gab. How was that Gab's fault? It's a communication system. But notice since it's Twitch and that's establishment, they're not blaming Twitch. They're blaming everybody who has free speech, saying you've got to lose your speech and your guns because of this, while they're literally flooding weapons to the Azov battalion Nazis in Ukraine. This is all extremely, extremely transparent. So we're taking your phone calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about this. Bob in Buffalo.
It's conspiracy. Oh, it's conspiracy. The government knew he was going to do it. Let him do it. I mean, there should have been red flag laws that made sure he wasn't able to get a hold of guns and shit. But people like you, Alex Jones, made sure the red flag laws are not enforceable. Made sure that a lot of the public, including a lot of the people in police uniforms, think taking people's guns away, even if they are fucking crazy in the madhouse, threatening to shoot their fellow students, is authoritarian. So he helps cause the problem, and then he blames the government or the Illuminati on it. Makes millions of dollars. It's the whole fucking grift. And then, speaking of grifters, folks, here's far lefty Jimmy Doorknob. He's so on the left, y'all. And far lefty super Democrat Jimmy Dore wants you guys to know, should have voted for Donald Trump if you don't want war. It's the Republicans who are all about peace and anti-war, folks.
So what were they really afraid of with Trump? They were afraid he wouldn't do this. That's what they were afraid of.
No. People were afraid that Trump would kowtow to the Russians and sit idly by while they went in there and raped and murdered thousands of innocent people and took over a whole country. You fucking sack of shit.
They were afraid he wouldn't go along with them. because he didn't come up in the Republican farm team. He didn't come up in the organization. He didn't have groomers, Trump. Trump didn't have donors.
Yeah, no donors for Trump. Nobody's ever donated to Trump, folks. Completely self-financed.
For his whole life, like everybody else. He was a donor. So he didn't owe favors like everybody else. They couldn't control him like they could control everybody. So what they did was they concocted Russiagate, red baited him for 4 straight years, and impeached him twice.
Russiagate, like I said, 50,000 bots on Twitter, thousands more on Facebook. They did documentaries going into the troll farms. His own staff, his right-hand people convicted of conspiring with the Russian government. But yeah, we just all made it up, folks. Oh, we just made it up. Says Russian asset Jimmy Dore.
Because he didn't have his mind right. So if you were the anti-war person, you should have voted for Trump and the Republicans. That's what this
Who increased drone strikings 350%.
means. If you're pro-war, you vote for Joe Biden and the Democrats.
Who finally pulled our troops out of Afghanistan, which Trump said he was going to do, but then his staff admitted they never intended to do that to begin with, but Joe Biden actually did it.
Save abortion. That's why I voted for Biden.
So funny to save abortion. Yikes! Where are you at, doorknobs? Any Jimmy Doorknob fans still in here? Because I'd like to flip you off a little bit if you're in here still. Fuck off, dipshits. And one more on the trash world. Did you guys hear about this one? This prison guard thought it would be a good idea to mock the Buffalo shooting victims. Super cool here, dipshit.
An officer, a corrections officer, decided to mock the deadliest racially motivated massacre in the history of this country against black people. Let's put up the graphic. Let's put up his Facebook post, because I want to show you how insane this is. On May 14th, as you remember, a white supremacist, Peyton Gendron, fired 50 rounds outside and inside of Top Store, killing 10 people, injuring 3. 11 of the victims were black. This guy thought it was funny. He's an officer, remember. He thought this was funny, so he posted a meme about it. His name is Greg Foster, and his Facebook post says, and I quote, "Too soon? ? This should weed out some Facebook friends, smiley face." And the picture says, "Clean up on aisle 3, no wait, 4, also 7, 9, 12, and 13.
That'll own the libs. It's so fucking hilarious, y'all. Clean up all the black dead bodies. I'm gonna weed out some Facebook friends. God damn it. The cruelty is the point, folks. Human trash. That's what the conservative movement's all fucking about. And that's my trash world. Hell yeah, making good time. Now it's time to get into the last segment of the show, folks. Before the palate cleansers, of course.